So for number 1, when we're looking at log base 6 of x minus 2 minus 1, notice I moved the negative 1 off to the right. If you want to put it in your calculator, you have to do log of x minus 2 divided by log 6. Be careful with your parentheses sets, minus 1 on the outside. It could say error if you mess up parentheses. Now let's talk about transformations. So, for logs or any transformations, what we're going to do is we're first going to scan across, and we don't see anything going on right here, which would be a reflection or stretch or shrink. We don't see anything going on here. Now we look by x. We set what's by x equal to 0 and solve, and we get 2. That means we are going to the right 2, because if we move along the x-axis, positive 2 is to the right 2. Then the number off on the right, the negative 1, means we're going down 1 unit. The asymptote is linked to the x value, x equal 2. Since x goes with, so I made a little error. This should say range, and this should say domain. So since the asymptote is x equals 2, then rewrite it here. The domain has to do with x. It's going to be x is something to 2. Is my picture, my graph, going to be on the right side, greater, or on the left side of the asymptote? Well, as we can see, our green graph is on the right side. That's why we say it's greater than. Our domain, our x values are to the right side of the asymptote. In order to get our table of values, we can put this in the calculator, and then we can hit trace, hit an x value. So I hit, for example, trace 3, and then enter, and at the bottom of the screen it said y was negative 1, so I have an ordered pair. So for this next one, just remember that natural log and log base e, same thing, so it doesn't matter which you want to use when you put in your calculator. So as we scan across, the first negative we see has to do with the reflection across the x-axis. Then the 1/2 is smaller than 1, so it's a vertical shrink. We set what's near x equal to 0 and solve. That's positive 3. That's right movement. There's no number off to the side, so there's no up or down. For natural logs and logs, the asymptote is x equals some number, so it's x equal 3. That's what we got up here. So we draw that asymptote, the dotted line is vertical, right there at x is 3. Since the asymptote is x equal 3, that's going to impact the x thing, aka the domain. And so our domain, our x values, are going to be what to 3? We say greater than because our graph's on the right side. The x values are greater than. The range is all reals. Again, to get our table of values, just plug the equation in, and you can hit trace. For example, trace 4, enter, and at the bottom it will say y is 0, x4, y 0.